Okay, Ross, welcome to another video. Welcome to Fish Friday. So this is for the first Fish Friday. This one's going to be about bass. But before we get started, I want to make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe buttons on all of my videos. Really trying to hit 1,000 by the end of the year. I have a lot more subscribers than I did when I posted my last video, and you guys are really hitting those like and subscribe buttons, so I think we can do it. Let's get into today's video. So today's video is going to be about bass. So largemouth bass, peacock bass, and sunshine bass. So first, let's start with largemouth bass. So largemouth bass are the most frequently caught in Florida. Being largemouth bass range from anywhere from 1 pound to like 12 pounds. Biggest one I've caught is 5 pounds. That was down in South Florida. And largemouth bass prefer live bait over anything. I catch most of my largemouth bass on live shiners with J-hooks, and I do catch some on curly tail grub sometimes. I normally use like a ounce curly tail grub with like a, normally mine are white or green. They really like them. Sometimes I use popping corks. It just really depends. But largemouth bass is the easiest to catch out of all those three bass I'm talking about today, my personal opinion. Which largemouth bass are really fun to fight too, and they'll be in any pond, lake, or anything that you come across. So the best way to identify as largemouth bass is, again, just its mouth is huge on a bass, this largemouth bass, and they have a green coloration to them, and they have a pectoral fin that is spiky. It's like, it comes up a little bit and it has little spikes up top, and then largemouth bass are super easy to identify. Just look for those major things and you'll find yourself a largemouth bass. So next fish I'm going to talk about is peacock bass. So peacock bass are my favorite bass we're going to talk about on this list. And the reason is they're so much fun to catch and they're super rare to catch. So in South Florida is one of the only places in North America that you can catch them in the wild. Which the best place in my opinion to catch peacock bass is Lake Ida. It's crazy how many peacock bass there are out there. I've caught like 100 out there myself. It's crazy. There's just everywhere. The best way to identify a peacock bass is they're really colorful. They look like peacocks. They have a false eye on their back, and they're a green coloration, and they have a really large mouth. They have red, green, and a little bit of blue sometimes on their coloration, and yellow. And the regulations for peacock bass is you can keep any peacock bass any size but one over 17 inches. And largemouth bass is, there's no minimum size limit on largemouth bass, so there's basically a free-for-all, and you can keep 5 per person. And that's my local areas, like FWC regulation type things. So the best way to catch peacock bass is to use shiners and lures. So I've only caught 2 on lures, being swim baits, Berkeley swim baits, amazing. And then mustad hooks, J-hooks are the best to do it. Live shiners or some sort of tilapia or minnow or gizzard shad or threadfin shad, anything like that is amazing. Best luck I've had for live bait has been tilapia, threadfin shad, and shiners, which threadfin shad is at Lake Ida, so you can just catch your cast net with there sometimes. And I also like to do a bunch of different, like, tactics to get them. Sometimes you like popping corks, sometimes they don't. But now let's talk about sunshine bass or hybrid bass or wiper, depending on how you want to say it. So these fish are a very commonly stocked fish in Florida. Just generally, mostly in South Florida. I've only caught 2 ever, being in South Florida and Lake Ida. So these fish don't get nearly as big as peacock bass and largemouth bass, at least from my personal experience in Florida at least. So those bass, peacocks, and largemouth get up to be like 12 pounds. These ones only get up to be like 5 to 10 in like Ida and South Florida. Best way to catch these is using a popping cork with a shiner underneath. Go into deeper water with them. I noticed that all the largemouth bass, peacock bass I caught were in shallower water, and then the fish that like deeper water and colder water going to be in colder water, such as the wiper or sunshine bass. And the best way to identify sunshine bass is it has a smaller mouth than other bass, and it kind of looks like a white perch. If you guys don't know what that is, it's like a white fish that people up north in Michigan catch and use for bait, but its shape is like this, and it has black lines going down that way, and it is a bulky fish. It's not necessarily long. It's pretty much, I would say, the shape of a black drum, pretty much. So there's no regulations on them that I know of because they are a stock fish. They may have regulations for different areas and ponds because state of Florida likes to stock fish everywhere. So shell crackers are in some areas you can keep them, some areas you can't. But it really just depends. So we'll see you guys on the next episode of Tackle Tuesday. I mean, not Tackle Tuesday, Fish Friday.